It has been several years now since Super Smash Bros. Ultimate ended its run of downloadable content, bringing its roster to a staggering number of about 90 characters. While many beloved gaming icons are now in the battle and feature movesets that are true to their home series, the movesets of some of Smash's older characters have become an increasingly common topic of critique among the fanbase. Many people have noticed that a lot of Smash's older characters have very outdated and archaic movesets, especially when put up for comparison against some of the newer faces, who boast designs that are love letters to the source material. Because of this, a growing number of fans believe that it's about time Smash's veteran fighters get fresh movesets that are more referential to the source material, bringing them to the quality of Smash's newer characters. Nowadays, it seems like everyone has some kind of nitpick with the way their favorite character is portrayed in Smash. While there are several infamous examples of Smash movesets that aren't quite up to stuff, I'd like to cover a character that not many people have discussed in regards to having their moveset fixed. Today, we're going to be creating a brand new moveset for King Dedede. King Dedede is the main antagonist of Nintendo's long-running Kirby video game franchise. The portly penguin debuted as the final boss of Kirby's Dream Land, stealing all the food from the titular location for himself. The pink puffball Kirby traverses 5 tricky levels to stop the king and bring the food back to Dreamland's starving residents. King Dedede would go on to become a staple villain of not just Kirby, but Nintendo as a whole, standing alongside the likes of Bowser and Ganondorf. The Kirby series was created by Masahiro Sakurai, and is his most well-known work besides Smash Bros. Itself. Naturally, being the fellow creation of Smash director Masahiro Sakurai, its selection of characters in Smash Bros. Would be expanded beyond Kirby in Brawl, bringing in the king alongside fellow antagonist Meta Knight. Unfortunately for fans of the king, his moveset in Smash has not aged well. Like many kits from the first 3 games, it feels very outdated and uninspired when put up against newer characters. The moveset has resulted in Dedede being a bottom tier in many of his Smash appearances, and it desperately needs to be freshened up to make the character more appealing to players. This character concept intends to make King Dedede not only more viable and fun to play, but also more faithful to his source material. First of all, let's go over how the king is going to look in his new iteration. King Dedede's current design in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is largely based on his appearances in games such as Kirby Superstar. However, King Dedede's design is very dynamic and changes quite a lot between appearances, so a fresh design is in order to complement his fresh moveset. The solution to this dilemma is quite obvious though. For this rework concept, it makes sense for King Dedede to be redesigned to what is inarguably his most popular incarnation.
Dedede, that's the name you should know! Dedede, he's the king of the show! You'll holler and hoot, he'll get curb at a boot! Dedede is the one!
King Dedede's design is now based on his appearance in Kirby Right Back At Ya, an anime series starring the Pink Pipsqueak. King Dedede's appearance in this anime has been responsible for plenty of quotable dialogue and funny moments, especially thanks to the performance of Ted Lewis, who returns as King Dedede's voice actor in all languages, replacing series creator Masahiro Sakurai, who currently serves this role. I feel bad kicking the creator of both Kirby and Smash off of one of his characters, but Ted Lewis is the Dedede voice. As compensation, I've decided to instead let Sakurai voice Kirby, with the Pink Puff's voice lines now incorporating his classic Poyo catchphrase. But Kirby's probably not going to be saying that much when he's crying at the king's fearsome new moveset, which of course is based on the anime now. Before we get into the moveset itself, let's review some statistics. This reworked King Dedede moveset will adjust some of his stats to make his weaknesses less polarizing. His tweaked stats can be seen on screen. For starters, King Dedede's mobility has been buffed across the board, making him faster than an ultimate and allowing him to maneuver in the air much better than his ultimate incarnation. This also allows him to make the most out of his impressive endurance, since the king has a hard time taking stocks in ultimate, and some of his old setup tools aren't present in this rework. I have also increased his kill power, as any good heavyweight should have an easy time taking stops. Oh, and of course, King Dedede has a lot of unique gimmicks to make him stand out from other heavies, such as his fighter ability, D-Bills. King Dedede's attacks all generate revenue known as D-Bills. Each time King Dedede uses any attack, whether it hits or not, he will obtain 1 D-Bill. These allow him to purchase various shady commodities from Nightmare Enterprises in some of his moves, which will be outlined later. The number above his UI signifies how many D-Bills he has at any given time. Alright, I think that's enough boring exposition. Let's get into the real exciting part that you came here for. Let's find out what King Dedede's more faithful moveset is going to look like.
This is Channel
Jab. King Dedede's jab has him pull out his boxing gloves and punch the opponent rapidly. These boxing gloves originate from episode 80 of the anime Power Ploy. Dash attack. King Dedede enters his tank, and he will drive forward a bit. He will exclaim while driving. Forward tilt. King Dedede pulls out his laser chainsaw, which is from the episode Beware Wispy Words, and he will swing it forwards. Up tilt. King Dedede is launched out of a cannon into the air, being sent tumbling into opponents. Down tilt. King Dedede pulls out a cane he's seen within official art for the anime and pokes it downwards. This move is incredibly quick, so it's effective for collecting D-Bills. Forward smash. King Dedede's trusty servant Escargoon will appear in front of him, but the king will take out a pie and throw it at Escargoon. This humiliation causes Escargoon to retreat into his shell and sends him flying into opponents. Escargoon can reflect projectiles while hurled into foes, shielding the king. This move is a reference to episode 57, A Half-Baked Battle, where King Dedede is embarrassed on national television after getting pied in the eye. Up smash. The Phantom Star Giraffe from the Prediction Predicament duology of episodes appears above Dedede, doing flame damage. This is similar to Steve's up smash. Down smash. King Dedede summons 2 of his trusty Waddle Dee servants on both sides of himself. Neutral air. King Dedede enters one of the automated lunch bots from episode 28, Labor Days, and spins around in the air. Forward air. A member of King Dedede's court, Sir Ibram, appears in front of the king, striking opponents with a radiation detector. This radiation detector appears in the 7th episode, Phoebe's excellent adventure, where it is used on one of Dinah Boyd's feathers. Back air. King Dedede dons a ninja outfit from Ninja Binge and swings a ninja scroll at opponents. Up air. Captain Waddle-Doo, the captain of King Dedede's Waddle-Dee army, spawns above the king and waves a checkered flag. This is a reference to the Kirby Derby, where Waddle-Doo waves this flag to start the race. Down air. Takoi the bird appears below King Dedede, swinging Sir Ibram's lost engagement ring at foes. This move is a reference to the 17th episode of the anime, The Thing About the Ring, where Sir Ibram loses his wedding ring, and it ends up in the hands of many characters, such as Takoi. Grab. King Dedede grabs the opponent with a fork. Tumble. King Dedede bashes the opponent with a flashlight, and for each hit, shines it on his face ominously. Forward throw. The food King Dedede ate last night was too hot. This causes the king to spew fire out of his mouth, dealing great damage and knocking. This move serves as Dedede's strongest throw, and it is based on the scene in episode 59, The Meal Moocher, where King Dedede eats a tampered crab. Back throw. King Dedede's back throw has him utilize a dream pillow, planting it on one of his opponents. This throw causes the opponent to go to sleep, and when they wake up, they will be in a possessed state. While possessed, fighters will either have their controls reversed, speed slowed down, or be constantly taunting for 10 seconds. In team battles, possessed players may also lose control of their character and attack their teammates instead. The Dream Pillow originates from the 14th episode of the show, The Pillow Case. King Dedede utilizes these to hypnotize the residents of Dreamland with innocent-looking pillows that give them nightmares of past episodes. Don't you love being reminded of the past through references? Up throw. King Dedede drops the opponent in the Booma Dooma volcano before the foe is shot upwards by the volcano's eruption. Down throw. The King's down throw has been reverted back to its Brawl incarnation. In that classic Wii game, he will slam his opponents on the ground and sit on top of them. The throw's knockback values also match the Brawl move to invoke a sense of nostalgia.
Why, if it isn't the Big D-Man himself, how's the new moveset coming along for you?
Why, it's coming along mighty swell. Soon I'll be bashing those smashers 6 ways to Sunday.
Sire, we've got enough callbacks to make Kirby's back crack, but I feel like we're missing something.
We ain't done just yet. My special moves are specialized to get rid of that pink pest Kirby for good.
We're saving the big guns for last.
That's why you've dialed me up, isn't it?
Say the line, sire.
I need a monster to climb that there Kirby.
Neutral Special. Monster Catalog. In the Kirby anime, King Dedede orders monsters from the intergalactic corporation Nightmare Enterprises in order to dispose of Kirby once and for all. Every episode of Red Bag introduces a new monster to terrorize the residents of Cappytown. Obviously, a staple aspect of the show needs to be incorporated into the King's updated moveset. King Dedede's Neutral Special has imported his Monster Catalog, opening up a menu of monsters he can purchase. Now, remember those D-bills we touched upon briefly? This move is where King Dedede's stacks of cash come into play, as he utilizes these to purchase his monsters. But to make sure this character remains simple enough that even the illiterate can enjoy him, each monster costs 10 D-bills to summon across the board. The Nightmare Enterprises teleporter will be on standby at the center of the stage. This is used to summon the monster into the battlefield when Dedede purchases it. Instantaneous delivery. The monster will appear on the stage and attack fighters, with each monster having a unique function. Choosing the correct monster for the correct situation is integral for King Dedede to rule over his adversaries. As a reference to the fact that monsters usually get defeated by Kirby's flashy copy abilities in the show, they can only be defeated in Smash by using the Final Smash on them. And since it's a specific copy ability, only specific Final Smashes can defeat specific monsters. So you have to use the correct Final Smash on the correct monster in order to kill the monster. Now let's go over the options Dedede has to purchase. Octocon. The very first monster seen in the series, appearing in Kirby Comes to Cappytown. Octocon will transform into its large octopus form and spit out fire at foes in its way. Octocon is vulnerable to Mario's Final Smash, a reference to Fire Kirby ultimately taking out this beast. Blocky. This cubic monster actually originates from the Kirby games themselves, and appears in the second episode of Blockbuster Battle. Blocky will jump around, stomping on foes, and throw stones at them. It is weak to Steve's Final Smash, House of Boom, causing this block monster to blow up with all the other blocks in Steve's house. Bugsy. This beetle monster also originates as a recurring mid-boss from the Kirby games. He attacks with a sword and club. Bugsy is weak to Cloud's Final Smash, Omni Slash. Kracko. You can't send this classic boss Kracko. Kracko is yet another monster who originates from the Kirby games themselves, appearing as Kirby Dream Land's penultimate boss and returning in the anime for its 4th episode. This catastrophic cloud will fly around the stage, throwing swords of lightning at foes, referencing its method of attack in the anime episode. It's vulnerable to Marisa's Final Smash, Love Sign Master Spark, sending this cloud into a storm it can't come back from. Wolfwrath. From episode 25, the terrifying monster Wolfwrath attacks with its powerful claws and teeth, which paralyze opponents to get hit by them, and the beast also shoots fireballs. Its weakness is of course Meta Knight's Final Smash, Darkness Illusion. Hobgoblin. This monster appears in episode 34, a recipe for disaster. Hobgoblin shoots out into exploding corn kernels, forcing opponents to eat them. It's vulnerable to Terry and Pyro's Final Smash, cooking it all high. Masher. This monster appears in episode 40, Monster Management, and is another one from the games themselves. It's described as the strongest monster in Nightmare Enterprises' arsenal. Masher attacks using its chain like a nunchuck, and can also use its jet boosters to fly. It's weak to Ryu's Final Smash, Shin Shoryuken. While Masher is out on the field, King Dedede can visit one of his vending machines, one piece later, and pay 5 D-Bells to upgrade Masher to Masher 2.0, a souped-up version of the monster from the 65th episode, Masher 2.0. The second iteration is a fast version of Masher's Chain Ball attack, as well as a giant razor beam able to fire at opponents. Masher 2.0 is weak to Ken's Final Smash, Shippu Junior Kaku. Kuribri. When summoned, this classic monster will wiggle around in place wherever Dedede summoned it from. While it is on screen, it will distort the visuals and audio of the game, flashing images on the screen and making its classic radio noises in the process. It's weak to Snake's Final Smash, Covering Fire. Max Rexer. This monster appears in the 61st episode, Fitness Fiend. When summoned, Max will attack nearby opponents, which traps them on one of his fitness machines. While on the fitness machine, the opponent will be forced to do a rhythm minigame for 15 seconds, and every failed note will cause him to take hefty damage. His weakness is Wii Fit Trainer's Final Smash, Wii Fit. Delivery Man. This monster appears in the 68th episode, Delivery Dilemma. When summoned, the Delivery Man will be riding around on his motorcycle, ramming into opponents and occasionally shooting homing missiles when foes are far away. He may also drop Maximum Tomatoes if King Dedede is nearby. The Delivery Man is weak to Captain Falcon's Final Smash, Blue Falcon. Escar Droid. This monster appears in episode 78, Right Hand Robots, and is a robotic duplicate of Dedede's trusty servant Escargoon. The Escar Droid will move around the stage, slapping any foes in its way. Escar Droid's weakness is Bowser's Final Smash, Roy's Final Smash, Dark Pit's Final Smash, and Incineroar's Final Smash. It's also able to be lured off stage, a reference to how Kirby defeats the first model. King Dedede has another thing he can purchase from Nightmare Enterprises though. For 100 D-Bells, King Dedede can order a special heart-shaped part that drops out of his monster teleporter. King Dedede can then pick up his item and bring it to the Escar Droid on stage, though beware, as other opponents can also pick up this item and throw it to deal damage or throw it off stage. If King Dedede manages to throw the heart-shaped object at Escar Droid, it will be inserted into the robot and transformed into Escar Droid 2. Escar Droid 2 will move faster than the first model and be able to pick up on-stage items for His Majesty to use. However, this model no longer takes wild ults, and as such, it no longer attacks opponents. To circumvent this, King Dedede can visit his vending machine, which has 2 buttons on it. For the price of 50 D-Bells, King Dedede can press the green button to the Escar Droid to transform again. The Escar Droid transforms into a mighty looking machine wielding a sword to slice opponents with. If King Dedede presses the red button on his vending machine, it will transform the Escar Droid into a fighter jet that flies around the stage, homing missiles at unsuspecting fighters. Once the red button is pressed though, the fighter's jet mode cannot be deactivated.
Now I'm gonna need a monster for—
Your Majesty, we have to move on. We still have 3 more specials to go. There's no time to bring in every monster from the show.
Then can't Nightmare Enterprises send me in a vehicle or something?
Now we're talking. I have just the thing for you. I drew this one from one of your high-speed appearances.
Side Special, Wheelie Bike Dedede Custom. For the King's new side special, he hops on his Wheelie Bike Dedede Custom, which appears in the GameCube classic Kirby Air Ride. This is a derivative of the Wheelie Bike from Kirby Superstar, which appears as one of the Air Ride machines. King Dedede is always locked to his Wheelie Bike in Air Ride, and it's much larger than the regular Wheelie. King Dedede is not only a playable character in this game's Air Ride mode, but he is also a boss in one of the Stage Row events, versus King Dedede, and this is the basis for this special move. King Dedede will ride on his Wheelie Bike and drive forward, flattening anyone in his way. This move is functionally rather similar to Warrior's Wario Bike, albeit with key differences. In the original game's boss fight, Dedede is only vulnerable when hit on the back of his bike, with the rest of his body being a dangerous hitbox. Therefore, in Smash, opponents must strike the glowing spot on the back of the bike in order to damage King Dedede. If the bike sustains 50% or more damage, it will be destroyed, and King Dedede won't be able to use it again until his next stop. While riding the bike, King Dedede can hold down the special button again to charge up in place, releasing the special button for a boost forward. To dismount, press the shield button alongside the special button. Does this move seem too weak to you? Don't worry, as King Dedede will be able to power up his bike, In Kirby Air Ride's popular city trial mode, Kirby and his Kirby friends drive around the city collecting patches, power-ups that increase your vehicle's stats. While King Dedede is driving on his wheelie, the patches from the game will fall onto the stage, allowing King Dedede to power up his side special if he collects these. Dedede can collect up to 18 of each patch, a reference to the max amount you can hold in Kirby Air Ride. The patches King Dedede can collect are on screen. King Dedede can pause the game in order to keep track of how many stats his vehicle has accumulated. These stats also buff the Delivery Man monster, making him faster and stronger in accordance with Dedede's collected patches. But wait, there's more! For 50 whole D-bills, King Dedede can visit his vending machine and upgrade his wheelie rider into the Royal Race Car, which comes from the Kirby Derby duology of episodes. This sleek car has double the default stats of the wheelie before any patches are applied, and it retains any stat buffs Dedede has already corrected. Its power is so great it will instantly KO any fighters it runs over. Dedede's upgraded cruiser has some tricks under the hood as well. While driving, King Dedede's race car can utilize a mini moveset of its own. A. Missile Launcher. The car launches a missile that locks in on opponents and blasts them to the stars. Forward Presse. Grabber Arm. An arm extends out of the vehicle, attempting to command grab opponents and drag them closer to the vehicle. Out Presse. Bomb Lobbing Arm. The vehicle lobs a bomb in an upwards arc, dealing damage when it collides with a surface and explodes. Down Presse. Hub Saw. The wheels of the vehicle gain spiked blades on the belfry, dealing even more damage to anyone who collides with the car. The original Kirby Air Ride game for GameCube was closely tied with the anime due to releasing during the period the anime was airing. A few of the Air Ride machines have appeared in the Kirby anime as well, albeit the wheelie does not appear among them, instead appearing as a monster in Born to be Mild Part 2.
This hunk of junk is perfect for some royal racing. Now I'm hungry. Hand me a bag of them chips.
Sire, you're going to need more options than just that.
Don't worry, D-Man. Our delightful mid-battle menu will make sure you're not fighting on an empty stomach.
Up Special. Foods and Flights. Let's start with the aerial up special for recovery, as the King's up special changes based on the ground and the air. King Dedede's up special has on board the Destroyer, which are giant UFO-like spaceships that Nightmare Enterprises has on file for no reason in particular. The Destroyer is too strong for opponents to handle, rendering the King invulnerable while riding. He also gains access to the Galactic Droid's weaponry. Pressing the special button again while flying will cause it to shoot out homing projectiles at opponents. However, King Dedede is now hungry, so his up special's grounded function satisfies the King's gluttonous appetite. When using up special on the ground, King Dedede pulls out a menu for dinner. This menu features 3 things on it: hot dog, taco, and hamburger. King Dedede is able to purchase these delicious food items to determine the direction of his up special. For hot dog, the Destroyer will shoot straight upwards. For taco, the Destroyer will swoop sideways in a U-shape. And for hamburger, the Destroyer will spin in place, similar to Bowser's up special but doesn't move much outside of that. Oh, if you press the A button while riding, the Destroyer will spawn the Air Riders, and they will be on the stage as enemies.
Ugh, you only got 3 things on this menu.
Say, what about that vending machine you keep bringing up? Your business is all food, no drink.
Yes, right. Your vending machine. Triple D, I appreciate the constant business, but don't you think you're trying to cram in a little too much?
Quit the critique and get on with the show.
Down Special. Vending Machine. King Dedede's Down Special has spawned a vending machine. This vending machine originates from episode 72, Waddle While You Work, and serves multiple purposes. Some of those were mentioned a bit earlier. Alongside those, the vending machine has 3 Waddle Dees that can be seen inside of it next to 3 buttons: cold, normal, and hot. For the price of 5 D-bills, King Dedede can hit these buttons to change the properties of the Waddle Dees used in his down smash. The default's normal, cold gives the Waddle Dees abilities to freeze opponents, and hot grants the Waddle Dees more damage and knockback, also giving them flame properties. The 3 Waddle Dees themselves don't dispense out of the dispenser, and they're just there for display purposes. As a neat little Easter egg though, there's a 1 in 100 chance for one of the Waddle Dees to be wearing a blue bandana, referencing a random Waddle Dee that appears as an opponent in Kirby Superstar's Megaton Punch. Okay, those are all the secondary functions of the vending machine. Let's get to the actual Down Special. What does this vending machine actually dispense? Down Special continued. Pump Up D. If King Dedede strikes his vending machine from the right side with an attack, it will dispense a can of Pump Up D. It costs 15 D-bells to do so, and hitting the machine with less will do nothing. This energy drink is an item that can be picked up by any fighter, but since it's at Dedede's feet, he can easily grab it. Press the attack button again to consume Pump Up D. When King Dedede consumes Pump Up D, he will grow in size. His attacks will be slower, but also gain more attack power. High in energy, King Dedede will also gain an additional 5 mid-air jumps, greatly improving his recovery potential. King Dedede's attacks also split flame attacks when powered up, proving the King's might under this delightful drink. Though Pump Up D must be consumed with caution, as if King Dedede drinks 6 whole cans in one stock, he will overdose and transform into his monstrous form from episode 93, Frog Wild. This rampaging King Dedede will have supercharged attack power, giving him the ability to easily one-hit KO any opponents he attacks in the state. After 30 seconds, he will revert to normal. However, that's not the only hot commodity this vending machine has in store for us. The Down Special continued, Power Down E. If King Dedede strikes his vending machine from the left side, it will instead dispense a can of the anti-energy drink, Power Down E. Like its counterpart, it can be picked up and drunk, however true to its name, it's a status debuff, Powers Down when you drink it. When a fighter drinks Power Down E, they will instead shrink in size. Their attack power will become much weaker, with reduced knockback. King Dedede will additionally lose all of his mid-air jumps. Power Down E's negative energy will cause the attacks of whoever drank it to always stun opponents. The idea is for Dedede to dispense Power Down E and leave it on the ground, tricking his opponents to grab it, thinking it's Pump Up D. King Dedede must utilize his vending machine wisely, tricking Pump Up D at the right time to catch opponents off guard, while making sure his opponents are at their weakest with Power Down E in their system. Since Power Down E isn't something you want, dispensing it is free of charge. Pump Up D and Power Down E originated from the 80th episode of the show, Power Polite. In this episode, King Dedede was again drinking Pump Up D, which the entirety of Capdown gets hooked on. To be included, Power Down E is complimentary by Escargoon 2.
Ah! Escargoon! What's happening to the pictures on my moveset?
Sire, I think we may have went a little over budget. They said 70 characters would have to be removed to fit in this entire moveset.
Hey there, Your Majesty. I believe you still owe us a lot of dough for some unpaid monsters in the past, so we have to cap the captures here.
But we're actually paying you to use the neutral special this time.
Only hypothetically. This is still a concept, not the real thing. You're gonna need a real good final attack to convince people that this needs to replace your old moveset.
Sire, we have to keep the show running. It's almost time for the grand finale.
Don't you worry none, Escargoon. There's really only one gate we can pull from for this ultimate attack.
Kinda stuffy in here. Hey, where am I? I am a superstar warrior.
For his final smash, King Dedede will sling a cartoon reel, catching opponents into his ultimate attack. Any opponent caught in King Dedede's final smash will be hand-drawn and large in size, chasing down our beloved king to the corridors of his own castle. King Dedede will then encounter his faithful servant Escargoon, and sport an extended dialogue sequence with
Well,
him.
if it ain't my faithful servant, Escargoon.
My, aren't you looking fit as a fiddle?
You downright spiffy yourself.
Have you seen Kirby today, Majesty?
He don't scare me none.
After this conversation, the crudely drawn fighter will return to the castle, attacking Dedede. After a second extended conversation, Escargoon yells at Dedede to stop the flames produced. King Dedede sucks the flames, transforming into...
Look, it is fire, Dedede, our hero. I would never say that.
This is the end of you, Kirby! Ah! Oh, Smash is gonna make me crash!
I'll never conceptualize another moveset again! Hey, I know. Why don't we include Sword Kirby? No, we don't have room for every ability Kirby has used. We don't want this moveset to get too cluttered. Besides, Meta Knight already uses a sword ability, so it'd be pretty redundant.
That's no fair! They're giving that Kirby fresh stuff while I'm stuck in bottom tier ruts.
So, accounting for all the monsters, the pump-up D supply, the vehicles, the Phantom Star Gareth, and your rights to use our logo, and cartoon expenses, your total comes out to about...
What? We can't afford that. The entire kingdom will go bankrupt.
Hey now, I thought we were supposed to be overpowered. Right, Escargoon? We'll win all those major tourneys.
Sire, the prize for winning a tournament is a signed Pro Controller with Mario's face in it. We could barely sell that for a quarter.
Well, I guess we'll just have to go suggest to the big dogs that the budget would be better spent on getting some new faces.
No, you can't do this. Think about what happened if His Majesty has to lose a match with every DLC character again.
Oh, please, Monster Man! I really want that wheelie bike to make it all the way to D tier!
At least give His Majesty a better disadvantage state.
Escargoon, what is that supposed to be a reference to?
If you can't pay the dough, then this moveset is going to be a no-show. You're gonna have to stick to Gordos, it seems. See you next time, folks!
Oh, and King Dedede's taunts have been removed from the game because his player base does not need them.